on this week? I don't even know where to begin. This week feels like one of those weeks where like the internet, Hollywood, everybody, culture got in a group chat. Nobody could agree on anything, and it's just all a hot mess.
And somebody's threatening world war.
Oh, that I wouldn't even focus on that.
That's not this podcast. Yeah, that's not what we cover here. But by the way, if I just get up and run.
Because we both live in places like where they would hit, like that's what happens when you live in these major cities. Like they're gonna come either place. But let's get into it. Fresh off the timeline, these are the dailies for this week. So Chilli from TLC is MAGA, apparently.
Hey.
Speaking of the president,
well, she says she's not.
So she said, however, reports show that she donated to the 2024 campaign, although she claims it was like a mistake and she didn't read the fine print. She thought she was supporting causes, reads the fine print. Human trafficking and veterans. I think that may be the fact that Trump's name was all over the website. She missed somehow. But then there was also the Michelle Obama post that was questioning whether Michelle was born a female that she reposted to her page. So it's not looking good for her. Now, she did issue a statement emphasizing her support for women, but the timeline's not buying it. LaTroy Davis said, girl, go chase a waterfall, and I agree. Mrs. The Square says she's scared it's going to affect those tourist ticket sales because they do have a tour coming up. And Ghetto Booty says, I haven't even bought a ticket and I want my money back. So I don't know. The audience is not buying it.
Okay, all right. So I'm not here to either attack or defend.
We're just reporting what's on the timeline.
We're just reporting.
That's all.
I do have a perspective though.
Okay, what's your perspective?
That certain celebrities, can kind of disappear inside a bubble, right? And so their relation to information coming from the outside world is not the same as people's whose lives are definitely affected by the fact that there's a crazy person with the steering wheel in their hands. So sometimes. So
you're saying you think that she is MAGA and now she's trying to dial it back?
No, I'm saying
that's what that's saying.
No, it's not. It's just saying that sometimes people be signing shit, standing next to things. They look cool. They don't read the fine print. Sometimes, literally that's what happens. And I'm not suggesting that she's not complicit or wasn't inattentive or possibly even thought she was supporting something that turned out to be something other than what she truly understood. That's a possibility. It's a real possibility. And I put that on the table. And also, she could be MAGA.
Well, I just know this. Chilli better wake up and pay attention because a lot of this stuff could have been avoided had she just.
You have to pay attention. That's the bigger thing.
You got to wake up and pay attention, baby.
And like if she genuinely said, "Yo, man," they said save the babies. And I clicked and I donated because I love babies.
Then she reposted the Michelle Obama thing, and then that was a mistake too. At some point, the number of mistakes you make, it dilutes the fact that it was a mistake in the first place. So, Chilli, wake up and pay attention because at this point, your ticket sales are plummeting, and we don't like it. And then moving on, Snowfall has a spinoff series.
You didn't say the prosecution rests.
The internet has said it. I don't have to say it. The ticket sales have said it. I don't got to say nothing. Snowfall. We love the show Snowfall.
I'm her awful defense attorney.
Okay, well we can't. We have so much to talk about. We cannot sit in this Chilli thing. Right. MAGA or not MAGA, she needs to wake up and pay attention. Period. Point blank. So Snowfall is a spinoff series based off the character Leon. Right. It's set to debut Hulu in 2026. Series is going to be set in 1990s Los Angeles. It's picking up in the aftermath of the original series. So you saw the original series, you know how it ended. And it's going to follow Wanda and Leon as they try to push West Coast rap into the mainstream during a time when gangs are escalating. In the crack era, it made Snowfall. And so the rap era is going to make this show. And so we have Gail Bean and Isaiah Johnson are returning to reprise their roles. I'm really excited about that. I love the show Snowfall. These were two really cool characters from it. Everybody kind of wanted to see what happened with them. And I think it's a cool way to kind of pick up with this idea of like West Coast rap and doing a show based around it. I don't feel like we fully have seen that. in a TV show or TV series. So really, really cool. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea.
I like the idea that, well, the coolest part to me is that they're following, kind of what happened in that community. So one thing fuels the other thing, and so I hope that they can get in there and infuse it with all the excitement and all the rich characters. I didn't make it all the way through the whole Snowfall series, but that's just because I was busy trying to write to save my own life, so I didn't spend a lot of time. But when I first started watching, I was really excited about what it was. Really good. Yeah, so I'm excited.
No, really good show. I'm really excited about that, and I mean. Shout out to that, because we want shows that are going to be that have to shoot in LA, and for me that feels like a show that has to shoot in LA to be authentic, and so we like to see that. I mean,
that's what they say at first, and then at first after the first season and those bills roll in, and they go, if we shot a few exteriors in LA, and I hope that's not the case.
West Coast
and it's
scene
FX,
on
so FX
somewhere and.
Yeah, FX has a high quality quotient, so
yeah.
I tend to be, in favor of
well,
FX
it's Hulu. It's going to be Hulu. It's on Hulu, not FX.
But I mean, it's born out of the FX ecosystem, and they have a high quality quotient in terms of the material that they put out. So excited about that.
Yeah, I'm excited about that too. So we'll see that on Hulu in 2026. Moving on. So there's been a lot of controversy happening this week outside of the Chilli debacle. We also have Beauty in Black, which is a show on Netflix. We have the actor Xavier Smalls. He's facing all this backlash after these resurfaced comments about the LGBTQ plus community came out. He basically stated that God does not allow unholy people into heaven. And he specifically was talking about LGBTQ individuals amongst his list of sinners. He claimed the individuals that aren't allowed in heaven are like scoffers, mockers, liars, murderers, and gay people, calling them an abomination. And the thing about this that's weird to me is he currently portrays a same-sex character on the show that he's in that's living a very gay lifestyle, right? And so then a lot of people were kind of pissed about that. They're
hold on, just a quick question. What's the difference between gay and very gay?
Well, he's a gay for pay prostitute on the show, I believe. So okay. there's levels. I mean, there's a gay lifestyle and there's a very gay lifestyle. And that to me would fall into that category. And so there's backlash because they're like, well, it's hypocrisy. Why is he playing this role? He's representing our community, but then he has these views. But then it's like also acting is a job. You can play a rapist or a murderer. It doesn't mean that you're a rapist or a murderer. So you don't have to necessarily agree with the role. But then at the same time, representation is so important to marginalized communities like that one. When you have a character that plays you kind of want them, whether they're gay or not, to at least keep certain opinions, I guess, out of the public space. So, I mean, he's since then gone back on it and like apologized and all the things. But what do you think about this?
I'm gonna leap past all of that, and this is really simple. There's a reason why you should keep your stupid ass off the internet, right? You're an actor. You're not a talk show host. Shut the fuck up. They got a whole public relations department that they want to help you go to places where you should talk. They want to help you figure out what to say. They want to figure out who you should say it to. You don't have to try and get people's attention. You're already on a TV show, and they're trying to protect their asset. You play a character. You're not the character. Shut the fuck up. Just like you said, I played a murderer. I'm not a murderer. Yeah, nobody asked you. Just act, man. That's all you got to do. Just act. And also... And if you genuinely have that sort of opinion of the community that you're representing and the character that you're playing, that's not different than a woman gets asked to come on a show and take off her top. She's like, hey, I don't do that. Somebody else can do that if they want to, not me. And he's also playing a character in the show that is supposed to be straight but is selling sex as a gay person. It's like, is that
I don't know. I just know that he's playing a gay character, and I believe he's like a gay for pay, like a hooker.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. If he's gay for pay on the show, then he's being gay for pay in real life. So motherfucker, maybe you're just gay because you're not acting. So which is it? Right? Make a decision.
I don't know, but I do know. When I look at Jay Alphonse, right, Nicholson from P Valley, he plays a prominent character who
Which character is he?
So he's the one that is in the romantic relationship with the gay character on the show. Let me get his name.
Is he the kind of thug, kind of a thuggy guy?
Yeah, the thug one. Yeah,
The
rapper Murder.
I know.
Right.
Yeah.
Great character, but he has to do like intense love scenes, and we know he's married with children, and he presents himself as a straight man. Now, as many people constantly question his sexuality because how could you do these types of scenes, but also I never have heard him say anything outward about the gay community, whether it's supporting it or condemning it. He just goes to work and does what he needs to do and deals with what he hears, but it's like he's a good actor at the end of the day. Sometimes I think that, okay, if you choose to play a gay character, fine. You're not gay, fine. But you don't need to be so vocal about it. I feel like the vocalization of it is what gets you in trouble. When you're a public figure, your opinion has higher weight. If you want to talk about stuff, keep it in your group chat. Like, that's what close friends are for.
Yeah, it's really simple. Like, make art that you can stand by and that you can be proud of, right? Whatever it is, right? Just make art that you can stand by and go, I did this because I love what this is. I love this story. I love this character. I love this journey. It was graphic. It was violent. It was all of these things, but I think that that's an accurate, realistic, and necessary depiction. I'm an actor. I throw myself into the art. And so whatever that is, I'm willing to do the things that walk right up to the line of me feeling compromised. And if I don't feel compromised, then I lean on my shit. And I just say, that's just what I did. So yeah, I ain't about to, shit on nobody for doing anything in the space of acting that they go, this is my profession. This is what I do. Y'all watching it, y'all entertain. But yes, when you come back into the public sphere, into the personal sphere, and you start talking about your personal beliefs, that's not what we need you for. That's not what we asked you to do. And not that you can't have those beliefs and opinions, but you're right. Keep them for the group chat.
Yeah, I mean, because it does kind of weigh on the whole. Before we were talking about the whole shut up and act. It's like that's not necessarily what I'm saying. I'm not saying that as an actor you shouldn't have opinions, you shouldn't have belief systems and things that you care about. But I do think that we know the world we live in, and we also know that there's certain hot topic groups or topics that if you say, it will be perceived in a certain way. So it's like if I'm going in, I care about my career and I care about my branding, I'm going to think about what I'm behind and what I'm not behind. And if you don't care, then you don't care. You can get to a certain point and say free Palestine, whatever, and nobody gives a heck. But for some people, in this case, that wasn't the situation. So, whether he'll end up on the show or not, I don't know. But you have the same thing going on with the NBA, where you got Jaden Ivey. Chicago Bulls waived this guard into March, because they say his conduct was detrimental to the team because he made these anti-LGBTQ plus comments. Basically, they wanted him to participate in Pride stuff, and he felt like it was unrighteous. The whole celebration of Pride Month was unrighteous and things like that. And since then, he's been preaching on the corners and all sorts of stuff since he got let off from the team. And he's still showing up on my feed today. I saw something where his wife left him today.
You say he's preaching possibly on corners? What is he doing?
Oh, yeah.
He's on the corner preaching?
Corners.
Does he have a megaphone and a sign?
He's on his live stream. He's speaking to people. He really feels convicted about this.
Well, my question would be, I understand that people have outrage, but my first question would be, hey man, are you okay? That's my first question. Hey man, are you okay? Right? Because
some people just think it's an episode he's going through, but some people just think it's religious conviction. It could be either one.
But either way, what I get tied up with sometimes is that it's easy to look at people who are in the spotlight and they do outrageous things, they do objectionable things, they have questionable behavior, and we tend to view that in light of, whether or not we believed in them, what we thought about them, did we get tricked, did we get fooled, is he talking about me? And also, sometimes the question to ask is, are you okay? Because the shit you're doing doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense because you have this community of people who are around you and you are actively going out of your way to turn them against you in some way, shape, or form. That doesn't seem like a person with sound mind.
It seems like, but you also got to, depends on who you ask. Because if you're talking to a very Christian, Bible-following person everything he's doing is right in alignment with Jesus. Like he's preaching the gospel, he's being condemned, right? And that's, I think, how he views it. Now, someone else who looks at what he's doing, like me, I'm very Christian, but so I understand that. But at the same time, I'm just like, none of this necessarily had to reach the public necessarily, but if you care more about your conviction of Christ than you do your career, then by all means keep doing what you're doing, preaching on the corners, whatever. God will bless. But some people are looking at it as crazy, which whenever people preach on the corners, that typically is what they do look like to the masses. So I don't know.
I mean, there's a couple of things. You have a couple of things in mind. First of all, your faith is your faith, and you walk in that, however and whatever that looks like. And also, you join the NBA, a notorious cesspool of people who lack faith and have outrageous and behavior and is hedonistic and all this shit. So, okay, fine. AC Green notoriously played, for the Los Angeles Lakers and said he was a virgin the whole time he was in the NBA. People can have faith, they can have strength, they can have the strength of their convictions, and they can demonstrate righteous ways, righteous paths, or even just plain simple good ideas and human and humanistic behavior. You can do all of those things, but when you step to the point of into that cesspool and condemning all of these people around you, here's the thing. That's not your platform. You got picked to play basketball, and you can get away with preaching your gospel or at least leaning into your faith if you win, or if you're valuable to the team's outcomes.
And
Tim Tebow was apparently
injured.
Right, like Tebow, he got down, he prayed in the end zone. They call it Tebow, and they made a thing out of it. It was fun. He was helping them win, right? But when Kaepernick got on the same knee and said, I'd like God to help me get these white people, stop killing black people, then it was like, oh, shit, we got to get this thing out of here. And they didn't view him as an asset to their cause, which is winning a lot of football games and making a lot of money off of overpriced merch, right? And so Tebow's version of Christianity and how he wanted to express that was one thing, and Kaepernick's version of faith and what he would lean on and what he was asking for and showing up for, with grace and all this, was frowned upon. And this guy is off the rails. He's preaching on corners, right? So yeah, if you want to proselytize,
at this point he ain't playing basketball anymore. What else is he going to do? So he was injured. I think he was benched. So you don't have this level of power within this organization where you are to kind of to go against the guard. And so eventually, they were like, I would rather wave him.
Yeah, you only get that power by winning, right? Dennis Rodman could get on a plane and fly to Vegas, and they could find him drunk in a hotel room. But he grabbed 20 rebounds a game, and he helps them win. So they flew out there and they got him. Hush up about the dress.
At the end of the day, luckily, Jaden, they did let him take his money and go, essentially. But it's a liability because he keeps talking. So I don't see another team taking him on because the team has a brand. And if you're going to go against this whole community of people, that's on you. But if you are attached to my team and you go against this whole community of people, that's a liability for money coming in for me. And so he does look like a liability now. So he's kind of, maybe shooting himself in the foot with his conviction.
And I still want to say one thing. Are you okay? Because I'm only 10 toes down, as they say, on this, because the behavior, when we see it, people saying these wildly outrageous, outspoken things, when that happens, we tend to default to how it impacts us rather than really sitting and going, what's going on with him? Why would he behave like this? And I don't know the answer to this question. That ain't nobody's job. It's just something that I think about. I wonder if he's all right.
Right. Yeah. Well, who knows? But moving on, you got Will Packer. You've heard about You, Me, and Tuscany, the romantic comedy that's coming out with reggae.
Reggae Jean Page.
Yes, as we have confirmed, as I was right the whole time. His name is Reggae.
That's fine. That's not going to be the last time you're right the whole time.
I'm right the whole time, most of the time. But what's interesting about this, and I'm excited to go see it because I love a rom-com. I like Will Packer, and I love these two actors. But there's a viral discussion around studios waiting to see basically how You, Me, and Tuscany performs before they greenlight similar projects. You have Nina Serafina said she met with a studio about her rom-com, and they won't buy it until they see how You, Me, and Tuscany does. She also met with an executive about a romance script, and they won't buy it until they see how this movie does. So please go see this film. So Will Packer responds to all of this and, says Hollywood has always been reactive, not proactive. But in this current IP obsessed environment, a lot of eyes are on original romantic comedy with two Black leads. Now, if we look at Will Packer, he's had romantic comedies before. We have Think Like a Man, Think Like a Man 2, The Photograph, What Men Want, About Last Night. He's a proven track record showing that this genre already works, but yet studios still need him to prove his worth. So why is that?
Well, I'm gonna try not to make too much of a meal out of this, but it's bullshit. And I'll tell you why it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit because there's a thing that they talk about called twin films. Twin films is when different studios or different entities are putting out films that are roughly about the same thing. No Strings Attached and Friends with Benefits. That was 2011, right? There was Deep Impact and Armageddon. Those both came out in 98. Ants, A Bug's Life, Olympus Has Fallen, White House Down, right? Like these are films that are basically the same movie. And when that happens, they don't go, let's hold this one to see what the other one does. It becomes a race, right? Let's get ours out before they go get theirs out, so that we can get theirs out. And we can get whatever audience, blah blah blah, we're going to get from that. And the other part of that is that I think that it's gatekeeping and it's control, because I'm going to start from the perspective of the Black female audience, right? This is one of the most reliable audiences that you can market to. When Black women like what they like, they show the fuck up consistently. Now, the problem with that is that when you think about Think Like a Man, Best Man Holiday, Waiting to Exhale, Jumping the Broom, Just Right, Something New, Love and Basketball, right? Film after film after film after film after film, beloved by Black women, they show up, and these are reliable performers, not just at the box office on release, but they're also reliable legacy performers. Once that shit goes up on streaming, these are the films that women watch over and over.
We watch them all the time, yeah.
And I'm saying women, but guys watch these films as well. So these are reliable.
With us.
Right. So these are incredibly reliable assets to have in your portfolio. The reason I think this is not, I didn't do a study, but I believe this. The reason they do this is control, right? Because typically it's like, oh, the superhero movie worked. Let's get a bunch of them in the pipeline, immediately. That never happens with the Black rom-coms, Black romantic dramas, never happens. They don't see Waiting to Exhale and go, ooh, let's do 20 of those. If they do it like they do at a reduced cost, right? And I'm sorry, I'm gonna go off 1 second, but I'm gonna bring it back real fast. When Shaft came out, the whole notion of the Black exploitation film was not a thing, right? Gordon Parks directed, Richard Roundtree starred. It was a fucking massive success. They did not follow that up with huge expenditures on Black films with stars and auteur directors. They turned it into Blaxploitation. They bottomed it out, got the cheapest versions of those things that they could present because they know the audience is hungry. So they get high return on low output. And then occasionally, to jibe the market a little bit, they pour a little bit into one, check the meter again and go, oh, they really like this shit. Now let's do it cheap again. And so we never have to deal with getting all of the access and all of the accolades that we could get from making these successful movies, nor do they allow them to peter out, right? So they let you work. It's like fucking sharecropping, right? Let you work, get bring output, that's fantastic, but then don't let you enjoy in any return and manage the way that you can make this material. So I think it's high profile Hollywood bullshit accounting. They put out shit all the time that's duplicates, things that fail.
Yeah,
they just
and it's odd because if the audience is proven, the fact that the industry still hesitates makes no sense to me. If you know you're going to get a return, okay, whether you're investing less in it or not, there still seems like in this case, we don't want to invest in it at all.
That's not true. It's psychological. I'm trying to control the market, right? So
we don't want too much Black stuff out there. Basically.
We don't want you to have control over how this works. We'd rather have control over how this works, right?
So if we keep you in a corner, then we have the control.
Am I lying?
Yeah.
High profile bullshit.
And
the other, they should just like. And here's the other part. Whatever that woman made her movie for, right? It's not an extraordinary amount of money in Hollywood terms. I can guarantee you that. I absolutely know that for a fact without having any fucking idea what her movie. I think her movie's got Country Wayne in it. This particular woman and something else. But you know, Country Wayne has an audience and he has a demo that appeals to him. So there's a way to market this as niche, as budget, and still not view it as a direct competitor to You, Me, and Tuscany. But it would be a way to draft onto the current that it's creating. Hey, while that's happening, let's do this one. No, they're trying to put a stop to that shit so they can go, it didn't work.
But the thing is, direct competitor, this woman is trying to sell the movie. It means this movie hasn't been, it's not done. It's not coming out and going to be in the theaters the same time You, Me, and Tuscany. The whole idea of, we have to wait and see how this does is basically we have to wait and see if yours is worth our time based off this. And even then, since he's already proven to have successful romantic comedies before, it still feels like, we don't know. Romantic comedies in the Black community is already a proven success. You don't need to reprove it. It's like you're pushing it. Like, what are you doing? It does feel like there's a bigger agenda at play about keeping the control and keeping the people that got the keys to the gate a certain complexion. And it sucks because it's like, how do you fix that? Because that's a systematic issue. That's a systematic issue at the end of the day. And it spills over into a lot of things. The rallying cry is go see You, Me, and Tuscany so that we can get this other movie. And I am an adamant supporter of as much Black art, craft, movie, all of that. And also, I'm not sure how we're supposed to feel about, suddenly our job. You have to go see this movie so that we can go get this thing. And it's not that we wouldn't go see it anyway, but suddenly it's like, well, if it doesn't get made, it's your fault. You, the audience, didn't see that film, and so that's your fault. But that didn't stop you motherfuckers from making whatever the movie is, whatever that big Marvel movie they made that tanked, or whatever the 15th Spider-Man was, or whatever the movies with Jared Leto as a superhero. Because the thing about it is, as an audience, if this is a all-white rom-com or all-white action movie, we go see it. We're not looking at your movie as, that's a white movie. Like, you know what I mean? If I want to see the movie, I go to see the movie.
I do.
The fact that when it's like white people is in it, but people are going to go see it that are white, black, whatever, right? When it's a Black rom-com, it's like, white people aren't going to relate to y'all Black love. White people aren't going to relate to y'all Black romance. So y'all got to go see it. If y'all the only people that we making it for, and it's just like, somebody else might want to see reggae. Reggae is cross culturally fine. Okay.
If you could create a movie theater, but like it looked like an empty warehouse, and there was just like a little door that white women could slip in, without being noticed. You'd go in there, and it would be an auditorium full of white women looking at Reggae Jean Page, not wanting nobody to know.
It just makes me.
They need to treat Black rom-coms with handsome male leads with French names. They should do that like porn and and create a website that white women can log on to and watch it
without their husbands,
without nobody knowing.
Listen, it's like you have one of the most nominated movies right now in Oscar-winning movies is a Black movie, and yet the fact that we're still talking about does Black stuff sell?
Here's the problem:
can Black stuff work?
The problem is that white people have they have cognitive dissonance as
they forget so quickly.
Well, no, more importantly, they love Black people. Like, they love Black people and they love Black people shit, but it makes them feel bad about themselves, so they try to crush it and press it down. But
it's
then
like,
they go,
go
damn, we
see
crushed it.
There's no slaves in this movie, guys. No guilt, no white guilt. Just go see it. Like, you're fine.
No. The white guilt runs deep. It's way you can't even conceive of how white guilt works. It's beyond your comprehension.
I don't want to even know.
Matt, you're a Black woman. You're about as far from white guilt as any individual in humanity can be.
Just like I don't understand white women's tears. I just don't relate. I just
right. That's just, so you don't relate to this. I'm a black man. I got a little bit more understanding of white women's guilt than you do. But just
why?
Kind of a little bit.
Why do black men have hold on, let's unpack that. Why do black men have more understanding of white women's guilt than black women? Please explain.
Because they'll reveal some stuff to us in conversation that they would never reveal to you guys, right?
Oh, because you're their safe
they
space.
Secretly. Right, in their mind, perhaps maybe they could seduce one of us or something like that, and then we can chat.
In their mind things. Or in reality?
Both.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm sorry. I'm just, maybe we need a white people whisperer to answer some of these questions.
Maybe we don't. Let's just stay in the dark and let's move on. Speaking of white people, let's move on to Is It Just Me? Because I know you've seen all the stuff about the Bachlorette. It's a lot going on in the white community. Rachel Lindsay had some commentary on her podcast, Higher Learning, on why we need to be better. As you know, she was the first Black Bachelorette in the franchise. And she has spoken intensively about the intense pressure she felt to be damn near perfect to satisfy that largely white audience. And she describes this expectation as a form of having to be the sort of exceptional Black girl standard. She's a Black professional. She's a lawyer. She's a clean record. But she still was held to this higher standard than all the previous white bachelorettes. And then you have Taylor Frankie Paul. This whole scandal that came out. She was named the new bachelorette with 3 kids, mind you. And that's just the bottom of it. Now we have this whole thing that came out, this video, and just 3 days before it was slated to premiere, TMZ published this footage from 2023 that shows her throwing a chair at her ex, Dakota Mortensen, while child was nearby. The child may or may not have been hit. And then Disney Entertainment is like, in light of this new release video that just surfaced, we have made the decision to not move forward with the new season of The Bachelor. But the thing about it, Utah's City Police Department confirmed that there has been an open domestic assault investigation regarding this girl and her ex, stemming from incidents in the past. This video is from 2023. There's a recent one from February of just this year. They share a 2-year-old son, and then she has these other 2 children with her ex-husband. So I'm like, okay, this doesn't sound like anybody would want to date. It sounds like she got a whole bunch of mess going on, yet you're choosing her as your ideal bachelorette. So is it just me, or do some people get permission to be flawed if they're of a certain complexion, while others are required to be flawless? Who wants this woman? Who wants to date this woman? First of all, who signed up to date this woman? Seriously?
Well, I mean, you need a white people whisperer, because
what would the white people whisperer say?
Well, I don't think it's that bad to them, right? Because I think that they look at this woman as an isolated case, right? It's not all of the white women. She's not reflective or representative of all of the white women, right? She's just this one unique white woman caught on film, throwing a chair at a man and screaming and cursing and doing all the things that would, and have gotten, other people, canceled and brought up in trial and, called a world-class abuser and all of these things. And there is a pocket of understanding that they leave so that they can try to make sense of it and not have to condemn one of their own. And so it's not different than me even saying whatever the world's tiniest bit of grace I can find for Jalen on the Bulls, it's like they're doing that a billionfold for this girl. So much so that they have sunk all of the money that they sunk into the season. They have to pull an entire season of television. She's not culpable or responsible. That's money they're never getting back. She was on a television series already. They've been knowing this shit the whole time. And it didn't make any difference that when Nate Parker came to that film festival and he was doing Birth of a Nation, and some charge that had been adjudicated in court that he was acquitted of years earlier, it had run through the gamut, was brought up as something that he should be judged on in the moment.
Because they didn't like the film.
It was totally in his past.
They didn't like that film. They didn't want that film to have a certain level of notoriety. And that's why that charge was brought up. because it made the conversation less about the film and more about the charge. Nobody's talking about the film now.
I'm sorry to have to bring up. I really am sorry to have to bring up Nate Parker in this moment, but it's the most glaring example. He has an entirely, respectable and non-controversial and non-conflicted, experience in around entertainment. But he is a man that has some integrity, that had something awful happen. And he's being judged worse than a person that's picking up chairs, screaming, throwing, knowing full well and being demonstrated to be a person that could be protected by the system. So
yeah, people are definitely they're defending her actions. But my point is, like, as a producer, if you do your background checks, so you know that there's domestic abuse allegations in the background, you know that there's been reports, all of that stuff comes up in the background check and everything. You do your mental evaluations. So if there's anything that's a little off about this woman that comes up, plus you scour the history of the reality programming that she's been on before, and of all the women in the world you choose, this one, for me, domestic abuse aside, not to shame, because I feel like this could get me canceled. Not to say that my ideal choice in casting a bachelorette wouldn't be a woman that's still in the midst of custody and has multiple children. That probably wouldn't be my ideal choice. Not that a woman with children doesn't deserve love and after whatever. Cool. But it feels like a complex choice. So I feel like you made this choice and put that aside because you thought that her notoriety was going to bring some sort of eyeballs to your channel. Cool, but you also put all this other stuff aside as well, the domestic violence allegations and all these things in this video, which I'm sure has probably come up in your research, and you thought it would be fine. And to me, the way they canceled it so quickly, to me, tells me that somebody knew about this and just thought it wasn't going to come to the light of day.
Right. So that's what they like to call in the business a calculated risk, right? What's the calculated risk? What's the worst thing that could happen? Well, they could find out about it, and then there could be humongous backlash, and we might suffer some momentary financial setbacks. And when I say momentary, I understood Rachel Lindsay to be saying that she didn't think that the show could kind of survive this sort of lapse. And I think she's absolutely wrong. I'll tell you why.
No, I think it'll come back.
Well, it's not just come back. It's not going anywhere because this is a format, right? There are different versions of the Bachelorette that are playing internationally. It's a huge catalog.
Paradise,
and so they can easily pull $80 million out of this, go, shit. They can write it down so it becomes a tax write-off because something happened and they couldn't get the money out of it that they were putting back into it. They'll wait a year and then they will make an apology. They'll say, when we started this show, it was to find love and explore the possibilities. And through the years, we lost our way. We started, leaning towards the trends. And now we're going to get back to, why we came here in the first place, to explore love and find blah, 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 blah. And that was her. It wasn't us. And blame her. Don't blame us. And now please watch the new Bachelorette. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. But I can also understand why Rachel feels that way, because I'm sure there was amounts of intense pressure put on her. Like, you can't be too angry. You can't have a certain response. Right. You can't be too emotional. Like, all these stipulations, because she was carrying the burden of representing an entire community as being one of the first. And to see that this woman she doesn't have to worry about any of that, it would piss me off too. And I mean, historically, we see this where it seems like white talent is protected despite their behavior. When you look at Mel Gibson and his anti-Semitic and racist remarks and domestic abuse allegations, yet he still is able to direct and everything. Charlie Sheen had public meltdown, substance abuse, allegations of violence, but he still was one of the highest paid actors on TV. You got Roman Polanski. Unlawful sex with a minor. He's guilty. He flees the U.S., but he still wins an Oscar for The Pianist. And the list goes on and on. Alec Baldwin, Louis C.K., Johnny Depp. And you have certain people, when you're black, you do something in this industry, your career is halted. We look at Nate Parker. Yes, he's been able to do some things in the indie scene, but the career trajectory that he had, when he was like on his high, the great debater, I remember having a huge crush on Nate Parker. So it just felt like he was on that Denzel trajectory of moving up to be like a Michael B. Jordan type, and like it was completely halted.
All right, so you're dealing with two things here, and this is not unlike the sports thing, and I like to be careful about this because it's easy to boil down what we think the differences are to race, and race does play a huge factor. However, the bigger factor is money. It's always money, and here's what I mean: when you are a Alec Baldwin level star, and you have that career and that trajectory and that legacy behind you, and something untoward occurs. You got an awful voicemail came out, and you were cursing at a child and saying some really, really mean shit, right? The question becomes, okay, how much of his audience is that going to impact? And so what you might be talking about is someone who has a larger share of an audience, something that's in a middle range, and then when they lose people, they go down to something that might be more of a niche audience, right? But when you're a black artist, you're already starting out at 14% of the population. You're already at a niche audience. And so if you shrink that down, now all of a sudden they go, it ain't worth it to us, right? It ain't worth it to us to endure the trouble and the news cycles and the press and whatever money we have to put into trying to defend ourselves against this so that we can get back to the money train. And so, if you're a person that said something and they hated it, but you could put your name up on a theater marquee and people come out to see you, they looking at that going, oh damn, they still like him. Okay, all right, let's give it a minute. Let's see how much, right? And then you may sometimes be able to work your way back into good graces, or you might find a less reactionary portion of the audience who may, give you some grace in a way that other people might not. I'm not saying those things are wrong. I don't think Diddy's going to be able to start up his record company again, in the same way. I don't. Yeah,
but he might be able to sell baby oil.
I don't know. Baby oil. Right, Kanye was just at a SoFi, and
Kanye was able to come back. He got himself a nice audience from that, Well,
but Pepsi is saying that they were going to sponsor the part of a UK appearance, whatever, and they said, nah, we don't.
A couple of sponsors have fallen out because at the end of the day, their brand and the money that they're making from their brand is more important, because it's like if we partner with this person, but you can still have fans that care about your music, what brands do not want to associate with you, which is what we're saying.
And I will say this, and again, this is a very unique circumstance, but Mike Tyson had one of the most difficult falls from grace, of anyone in entertainment, right? And he has endured, and he has found his way back, and he has had certainly a challenging life, and over time people have come to understand a little bit more about what it was, and he has coveted grace, and he has been able to show himself to be really a man of integrity, right? And so whatever those missteps were, and however tragic they may have been, and how much personal impact they had, I think that he was ultimately a good man trying to do a right thing, and we see that now because of how he has behaved. So it's not that you can't have a way back, right? But it does help if you're a winner. That's the most important thing. You got to be a winner, right? Because if you're not a winner, they may let you exit the building quietly, right? And they won't come after you, but you won't be a welcome, entity. So it's a lot of business. There's a substantive amount of race politics in there. And yes, on the surface, they get breaks that we don't get. And I don't know how, when, or if that might change.
Yeah. Well, speaking of black versus white.
Speaking of black versus white, I love your transitions.
You cue me up. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm sure everyone has seen the Druski skit right now, sitting on his portrayal of Erica Kirk, wife of the late Charlie
Kirk. He did not portray Erica
Kirk.
We don't know who that was.
So that's what
I don't know who he portrayed.
So because there's a lot of them that act like this. So his latest skit was titled "How Conservative Women Act." Right? It did not mention any names. It did not mention any person.
Just
went
women
viral.
who are conservative.
Women who are conservative, yeah. And it sparked all this viral praise and outrage because he looks like Erica Kirk. And it's clear that she may be his inspiration because, he's dressing in a similar way. The facial expressions can be similar. But he never mentions her by name in the skit. And it's reminiscent of an outfit that she wore for a Turning Point USA.
Reminiscent. See, there you go. I love that.
Reminiscent.
Turning Point USA.
Yes. Whatever. Yeah. So his response to the widespread backlash was to post his Caucasian grandfather and childhood photos as a defense that his skit was not racially motivated. It can't be racially motivated. My grandpa's white. Come on. Which I think was hilarious. Some others hilarious stuff. So, Grok, the AI that Elon Musk has on Twitter, viewed the video and then it has labeled the actual portrayal of Druski as Erica Kirk, which pissed her off. Because now it has 150 million views. So she's like, your AI pushed this and 150 million people are humiliating me. And she's blaming Elon directly, saying his platform let it spread.
If you put the the Druski video in, Grok would be like, hey, Grok, who this?
Erica Kirk.
And Grok would be like, oh, that's Erica Kirk.
Erica Kirk. Because, it was an uncanny performance. So Elon Musk responded to her on Twitter. He's like, it has 150 million views because people want to watch it. That's not how my platform works. So she's pissed. Okay. So she responds to Druski saying, if I did blackface as part of a skit, I'd be canceled and called a racist. Now you have other people stepping up. Jake Paul appeared on a podcast recently saying now he's planning to do a blackface as a response to Druski's skit. But the thing is, it's like Druski's skit to me was not racially motivated. It was just insanely accurate, whereas we've seen him do skits where he is portraying people of color, people not of color. And the thing about him, which makes his comedy very funny, is because of his accuracy. And to try to fight what you are now calling whiteface with blackface is clearly racially motivated. So it made me think historically about blackface versus whiteface. So is it just me, or does whiteface always work while blackface never works? Now, some examples of whiteface.
It can work.
When has it not worked? So we got Martin Lawrence. We've seen him play white characters. Marlon Wayans and Shawn Wayans famously in white chicks. As crazy as they looked, we loved it. Dave Chappelle has played white characters. Eddie Murphy, Coming to America. When I first watched Coming to America, I didn't even know that guy in the barbershop was black. I didn't know that was Eddie Murphy.
But you got to go back to The Godfather, who is Godfrey Cambridge. Right, Godfrey Cambridge in Watermelon Man. Right, Watermelon so Man. The Watermelon Man, the new shit becomes old. Eddie, when he did his whiteface thing on the bus, and he was a white guy for a day, amazing. So here's the biggest difference, and I got one simple thing. I have a comedy mantra, and it usually will not fail you, right? Which is make fun of what people do, not who they are. And so, not unlike, a month or so ago, whenever it was, that Druski did a bit about a preacher who was on wires flying down to the stage and also had sparklers and smoke and red bottom shoes and crazy suits. He didn't say who that was. And then Mike Todd goes, hey.
They were pissed too. They were pissed.
So to Erica Kirk, we say, oh, look, I'm a person who was making fun of a circumstance, and the circumstance is excess in this type of church that is populated by black people, blah, 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 blah. The other thing is excess at a Christian-leaning political action committee thing, and it looks like blah, 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 blah. I name nobody. But if you see yourself in this shit, then
a hit dog holla. Hey, but then he did the other skit. He did the other skit where he was the redneck, the NASCAR. And they loved that. They were like, oh, I see myself in that. They loved that. But now all of a sudden, it's a problem. Like, oh, it wasn't a problem when he did it before. Y'all was over there reposting and having a good time.
Well, and here's the thing. In any culture, I think any culture fairly will embrace another person who comes to them with accurate depictions of who they are, how they are, what they do, and they speak to it with a level of specificity that you know they know what they're talking about. Bill Burr is the classic, best, most recent example. You know, he happens to be married to a black woman, so when he starts talking about his black people shit, he's spot motherfucking on. He knows. He's had the conversations, and we can tell, right? The next version of that over would be Gary Owens, right? Same thing, white guy with a complete or at least a rich enough understanding of black people and black culture that he can sit in the middle of that space and crack these jokes and have this fun. And we know and understand that these people are coming to the table with love, with appreciation, pointing the finger, is family, is cool, right? And you know, that's what happened with the NASCAR thing. Clearly he knows enough about it to know that that's how these people act, right?
Yeah, and it was accurate.
These other people are using their stations perhaps in ways that, you know, to some people may not be the most honorable.
Well, and yeah, because these would be responses based off anger. Like if she comes out with a blackface skit or Jake Paul comes out with these are responses and retaliation to feeling away. It's not. Of course, it's going to be racially motivated. Of course, it's going to be in bad taste. Like honestly, blackface. There's very few examples where it isn't racially motivated. I would say one of the ones that comes to mind is Tropic Thunder. And the joke in that was all about the actor's ignorance. The film was very self-aware. It was satire, was more directed at Hollywood itself, where Robert Downey Jr. played Kirk Lazarus, an intense white Australian method actor who undergoes this pigment alteration surgically to play a black sergeant in a war movie. And I thought it was hilarious. And it's more so mocking narcissistic actors who go to extreme limbs, not mocking black people, right? And
we can tell the difference.
We can tell the difference. I mean, they screened the film for the NAACP, right? You know, to make sure people, you have the co-star who was black, Brendan T. Jackson, defended the film. It was nominated for an Oscar. Like, there wasn't this outrage when it came to him in this. So it's like, we get the joke when the joke is properly done. And it's so funny because I'm seeing all these images now, AI images, where people are going ahead and putting Erica Kirk and Jake Paul in blackface, and they look better.
Oh, God.
They look better! They look
all right, so
black.
Here's the other thing. Right. Here's the other thing, though, and this is the most important distinction, I think. It's punching up versus punching down. When historically, when white people have donned blackface, it is to basically put black people down, depict you as being lazy or violent or ignorant or something that is not a quality that you want to be known for having. That's what they lean into. When black people got the blackface, I'm doing the whole fucking thing. But when we do whiteface,
we're accurate.
It's an accurate depiction, and it's not a fucking costume, it's a mirror. And when they see the mirror, they don't like what the fuck they're looking at, and then it becomes a problem. And to be fair, the same thing happens in some way with Mike Todd. When I show you the mirror, he can't be as vocal about it because it's not about race. You know what you do. I'm not saying that what you're doing inherently is wrong, but there's an aspect of how you show up that people have questions about that you don't have a good response for, other than it's all in good. So, and I ain't mad. Like, ain't nobody gonna be mad at Mike Todd.
Suspended in the air was he suspended in the air at some point?
Yes, they brought him in on some ropes. And I'm like, motherfucker, is that what you're doing with my church money? Is you bought a fucking hydraulic system to fly you in from the ceiling? I came here to praise God, and you flying in on ropes.
How did I not hear about this pastor? I haven't heard about this pastor since before this movie came out, and now he's everywhere. I can't get away from him. That is hilarious.
I mean, it's just that whole prosperity gospel thing, man. It's like, yes, it's right. You're in this time of extremes, right? It's like, yeah, you flying in on ropes. You got the red bottoms. Everything is tailing. You go, you could be like this too. Yeah, probably not. Probably not. Most of the people watching Erica Kirk in the suit and blowing, they're never going to live like that. They're not going to get a part of that. And selling those ideas under the banner of faith, people have questions about, what you truly represent. So if you're mad because somebody pointed a finger at you, if you really 10 toes down on the shit that you believe in, what you'd honestly be able to say is, that's not me. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Have your fun.
There was nothing that he did to me that was offensive. Oh, he looked at the camera in a similar way that she looks at the camera. When you look at the camera, chick, it's scary. Like, and he played on that. You can't enter in the stage the similar way that you entered in the stage. Well, when you entered in the stage to a rap song, it was odd. Like, and the thing about it was he didn't have to do much. You're funny just being you, and all he had to do
I'm just doing what you're doing. I'm not doing extra. The extra that I had to do is sit in makeup to look like a person that if we were on the street, no one would even think that we were the same.
Makeup artist is so good, and it's so funny because pictures are coming out of like white women that literally look like Druski.
Well, here's the best part. Here's the best part about Druski, who I think is a fucking genius, right? I mean, he is like. Right now, he is the sharpest social critic working in comedy. The sharpest, right? It's just the way that he's coming at it. So I think he's a fucking genius, you know. But the other thing, too, is the funniest part is it's like SNL characters. It's like, I don't even look close, but that's not the point. Y'all get it, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, I would love to see Druski on SNL. I think he would be so, he's beyond it to me, funnier than some of the stuff I see on SNL. Yeah. But I would love to see him. He's beyond it. He's beyond it.
He's way beyond.
Yeah, he's way beyond that. But like, so good, so good.
I want to. You know what I want to see? I want to see a movie with. All right,
just him playing a bunch of characters.
Hey, Will Packer, Malcolm Lee, Spike, somebody. I can't do this. I ain't got the juice, but y'all do. So here's the movie. We got Eddie, Martin, Druski, and Jamie and Michael B. Jordan. Just the 5 guys, but they played 35 characters. They're the only people in the movie. is Eddie, Martin, Jamie, Druski, and Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan's the straight man.
He plays the twins.
But he plays 2 characters too, maybe 3. And so yeah, it's a movie with just those 5 guys. They like pay like 20 characters. I don't know what we're gonna call it. That's all I got. But come on, y'all.
Write that down. Write that down.
That's my pitch.
Pitching that.
Boots Riley. Boots Riley should do that.
Boots Riley would do great at that. Speaking of movies, though.
Speaking of movies.
Jonathan Majors was on set pretty recently. He was filming an action movie when a stunt went wrong, and he fell through a glass window during a scene after the glass broke unexpectedly. And the fall was reported to be approximately about 6 feet. And his co-star was also injured, required stitches. Now, prior to this incident, the crew members for this production had raised multiple safety concerns, basically saying there was improperly rigged, unsafe props, hazardous set conditions, including environmental concerns, and just lack of proper safety and protocol at various meetings. It was brought up. So then following the incident, the crew walked off set. They went on strike, and the walk-off was tied to these ongoing safety issues. And production has reportedly continued using just a non-union replacement crew despite the strike. So it really brings me to the script for the week, which is titled "They Said It Was Safe." And let's talk about this whole safety versus the schedule. It does seem like this production, which people have tied it to being a like more right-wing production, not caring about this crew, saying they will not negotiate with terrorists in terms of this strike.
This is Ben Shapiro's company that is producing this film. So here's thing one, and this is not to play around with, right? At the start of any day on most union productions anywhere throughout Hollywood and the Hollywood ecosystem, they start the day with a safety meeting, right? They gather everybody around, the entire crew, cast, whoever is on the set at that time. They start off with a safety meeting, right? Here's what to look out for. These are the things that you should report, and safety trumps everything, right? So it doesn't make any difference whether something unsafe is occurring with the star or if something unsafe is occurring, with a background person who's got to stand over by a thing. Yeah. Safety is safety. And it's become such a huge issue because one of the first, more tragic incidents that kind of kicked off awareness around this was on a John Landis film, you know, back in the 80s. You know, there was a death on the set from an accident with a helicopter. It was horrific. And so awareness around safety became, you know, a huge protocol in Hollywood
Yeah, the
film
rust
and television.
issue. Yeah, the rust
and
film as
and
well.
so, you know, and occasionally we've had tragic things occur. You know, my man in the Crow, Brandon Lee, you know, set accident. There was another guy on a CBS television show, accident with a loaded gun on the set. You know, what happened with rust. You know, so there are all of these incidents where something happens, and of all of the things that you can cut budget and priorities for, safety should never be one of them. And I think that the ego of people to think we won't negotiate with terrorists. Well, the reason that somebody is falling through a window,
yeah,
communist, terrorists, whatever, the reason that somebody is falling through a window is one of two things. Either the people who were tasked with putting that together or securing that location, understanding what it needed to be used for. He's got to lean against the glass. He's got to do this. He's got to do that. They'll say, well, that glass is going to be unsafe. They'll say that this wall can't sustain his weight. They'll do these things, and can we find options? If you get rid of that person, and then you get an actor who is in a position where he's, you know, kind of out on a limb a little bit and willing to do things that are possibly, you know, not as safe as they should be. This is what you're going to end up with. So I'm not, you know, I'm not in support of any production that wants to sideline safety for whatever reason. And the crew should walk off, and they should not come back until you go get us a person in here who knows how you're going to keep us okay.
But clearly this production company does not care, because they've already gone ahead and replaced the entire crew, and they've already gone back into production. So a lot of people are looking at Jonathan Majors because it's like, you know, we know his career has taken a turn after his whole, you know, legal issues. And is his career in a place now where you would take on a Daily Wire, a right-wing film production company co-founded by some MAGA supporter? You know, a lot of people are saying this could be the final nail in the coffin of his career. Like, why would you choose this? But at the same time, he might not have many choices. Like, you know, if he wants to get back to playing and this, what I'm saying, this might be his only route.
You know, back to Are You Okay? Right? Listen, he's having a hard time, right? And again, I want people to understand, I am not an apologist for bad behavior. I am not an apologist for bad decisions. I am a person who understands that people do things that are wrong, and people make decisions that are wrong, and bad shit happens as a result of it. And I also understand that you can take some time, you can go sit your ass down someplace, you can gather your thoughts, but you have to show up in good faith. And I think Jonathan Majors' biggest problem, and I don't understand the nature of it, so I'm not speaking to why he's making the decisions that he's making, but obviously he thinks that these are the things that he should be doing. And so I can't condemn him for that, because I don't know how much his rent is. I don't know where he eats. I don't know who he got to take care of in his family. I don't know what's going on in his life. So I'm not going to condemn him for wanting to work, even if it's under the most difficult circumstances that he can find. He could call up Candace Owens. Maybe they could do something together. They could do a little, they both over there.
Yeah, I think
Candace got out.
I think that, you know, people are looking at him with the side eye because he's executive producing this. So at the end of the day, it does fall on the producers, these issues, which is why I think that people are viewing him as at fault. But, you know, he was on such a trajectory with his career. I couldn't imagine feeling like you were on this upwards trajectory and then all of a sudden you have this steep decline. I'm sure there would be a desperation to want to get back up in some way, shape, or form. And it seems like every method he has taken has not really been able to get him through that door again. So a lot of people were looking at this as, you know, a desperate, which is not something that he might have chosen if he had a choice. You know, to me, this doesn't feel like a choice that you would make if you had other options.
Well, I mean, but the other thing to keep in mind is, and I'm throwing a name out there, even if he is an executive producer on the product, guess what? Nobody, you know, and this is to reel it in. For everything that I have to say about safety, also, nobody died. But the crew reacting going, how you do one thing is how you do everything. If you let somebody fall through a window, he could have suffered a severe injury. Yeah. Right? What are we going to fall off of? What are we going to fall through? But I'm not going to, you know, he's an executive producer. Yeah, well, Alec Baldwin was a producer on Rust and somebody died. So the level of culpability, the level of understanding, whether a title is a prestige title or whether it's a hands-on, I actually understand what's going on here title. You know, we can't always make those distinctions from the outside looking in. But at the same time, the reason that, you know, we have these unions, the reasons we have all of these protocols is so that you have skilled, experienced people in the positions that can stop people from getting hurt, fucking up your project, burning up your money, and, you know, and tarnishing, you know, somebody's already damaged reputations.
Right. And at this point, they're walking away because this is after tons of conversations about the safety concerns. Crews, as we know, they're rigging up things, they're climbing on ladders, they're hanging off of stuff to put lights and sound mics up. It's a very dangerous job. And so they do care about their safety. And if it is to the point where your lead actor, executive producer is falling through a window, what does that mean for me to grip? You know, so I understand completely moving away from it. Unfortunately, in the climate that we're in, this production company is just like, well, go ahead. We can find someone else to replace you who is not in the union, who maybe doesn't have as much experience or as many work hours under their belt, but is hungry to work, because everyone out here is hungry to work right now. And so they feel like they don't need to negotiate with the ISC union. They feel like they don't need to adhere to these safety measures. And so for me, if I was an actor, I would be concerned going on this set knowing that this is the framework of how this production feels.
Well, I mean, and the reality of this business and everything that's adjacent is, hey, they can do that if they want to. They can go, we are not a part of your ecosystem, so we don't adhere to any of your rules, and everybody that wants to come over there and play in that field can play in that field. And if you are from this other world where we have the rules and the protocols and all of those things, but all you can do is find work in the world where they don't, then maybe you should try, you know, trying to work your way back into the good graces of the people that won't let you fall through windows, as opposed to spending time engaging with the people who don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and apparently he has not issued a statement as of yet. The filming is currently ongoing, but his co-star,
what are you supposed to say?
I don't know. Well, no, did you see the video? The video was so funny because they do the scene and they fall backwards through the window, and you know the crew all comes forward and they're like, "Are you okay?" And Jonathan's like, "I'm fine. Use it." He's like, "Use the tank."
We don't. Right, don't fucking throw me through a window for nothing.
But his co-star is the one that actually, his co-star actually had to get stitches, and he's wrapped now from the film, and he said he did not feel he felt like he had like a positive experience working on the project. That's what he told Variety. So I mean, the actors are not expressing the same thing that the crew is, which I think is an interesting thing, because it's like, you know, as an actor you might not be aware of everything happening until you fall out of the window, but clearly the crew has a very specific thought process on this, and I do think that their safety is a concern, and walking away was the best thing that they could do. And so I agree with the strike. I stand with it.
Well, like I said, I mean, they have recent precedent for a tragedy on set on a low budget film, and they have every reason in the world to go, I don't want to be a part of this. And they walked away from it, and you know, and nobody's going to be mad at them for that who is actually a reputable producer, right? Only somebody that's low budget trying to cut corners, trying to make you do some shit you don't want to do, they'll be mad. But people who actually give a fuck about the safety, health, and well-being of the people that they're working with will not be upset, and they will understand. And I'm with Jonathan. I fell through that fucking window. We better use that shit.
Use that tank.
You know, but I'm just saying, if it was glass or if it was something sharp and he fell back and that shit punctured something, you know, and suddenly you end up with an injury or a wound that is life-threatening or worse, right? I'm just like, you know, I guess you know, leave what you know, blood on the dance floor, man. Leave what you want to leave, and you know, do what you want to do. But I wouldn't recommend that.
Listen, so much going on this week. What are you watching this week, though? Anything good?
Well, no. Well, all right. So, and you know, and I always feel sensitive about this, but I'll say it like this. I tried to watch Crime 101.
Okay.
You don't know about Crime 101? All you need to know is it's got Halle Berry in it and some other people.
Okay.
And you know, I'm a Halle Berry fan. I'm like, hey, look, it's Halle Berry. What's she doing? Hey, she's wearing a pillow today.
Okay.
What's Halle Berry doing right now? Oh, look, she's a boxer. I don't know why I love all the Halle Berry movies. Anyway, Halle Berry's in Crime 101.
Not this one.
I loved her in it. Her part was good. I'll say this: it presents itself as a thrilling heist film, and I was disappointed because I love a thrilling heist film, and there was something that kind of looked like a heist early in the movie, and the star guy Hemsworth, I think Chris Hemsworth. He was in a car and he was driving fast through the streets of LA because it's got something to do with him making escapes on the 101 and knowing a lot of traffic. And it was fascinating to me because he was driving through LA at a high speed at night, screeching around corners and shit. And I thought two things. I'm like, one, no one is chasing him.
So what's he driving?
Why the fuck is he driving like a fucking maniac and no one's chasing him? Two, traffic in like the 101 would be the worst escape route you could pick on earth to try to get away from anything. Oh, the only thing worse than that would be it could be crime 405. It's like, nigga, you gonna get caught. They spent a lot of time setting up these characters, Mark Ruffalo, Chris Hemsworth, and they was just talking a lot, and it just, there was no heist. There's no heist. Like the town, like each one, all of them, Ruffalo, Hemsworth, Halle Berry, they've all been in better versions of this same movie. Okay. All of them. And I thought maybe they thought they'd be like a super group, like the Power Station. That's way older than you, but I'm old. The Power Station was a super group with Robert Palmer and some guys in the Duran Duran. The Power Station. Anyway, I wanted to like Crime 101. So I ended up watching The Untouchables instead, and that was much better.
So we didn't finish Crime 101.
You know what? And two quick things. I watched The Untouchables and Jaws. And the end of both of those movies are just fucking fantastic. Like just the way they set up tension and drama and the way they pay off. And it's just like you like edge of your seat type shit, right? From the time when the Kevin Costner character shows up at Union Station looking for the bookie in The Untouchables, and they got to get him to court. And in Jaws, when Richard Dreyfuss gets in the cage and then goes under the water, and the shark starts to attach. From that point forth, in both of those movies, shit, them motherfuckers are masterpieces.
Great dramatic
unlike
tension.
Crime 101. But I applaud. I always applaud. I will always say this, and I have to say this for a fact before I shut up. Anytime somebody gets anything made, you know, it typically is a triumph because it is incredibly difficult to understand all of the ups and downs and shit. You don't know. You make your best fucking informed or sometimes uninformed guesses. You put it together, and some people have a better track record than others. But, you know, thanks for playing our game. And I'm waiting for the next Halle Berry movie.
Listen, we want to get something that you actually
Crime
finish.
102.
Yeah,
Crime 102.
let's get something that
Halle
he actually finishes. What did I watch? There's a lot that happened this week. I went to the New Edition concert.
You did?
In Atlanta? Yeah, I did. Which was really great. It was New Edition, Boyz II Men, Tony Braxton.
Was it the whole 6 New Edition? Everybody?
It was the whole 6. Bobby was there.
Man.
Johnny Gill.
That's like 4 shows.
Yeah, it was because it was a lot.
I was never like a New Edition fan.
Saying.
Right. I saw them at the Essence Fest years ago, and it's like, and you know, I'm a little bit older, so I had never seen New Edition, but when I saw that show, I was like, oh shit, this is the 5-man New Edition, the 4-man New Edition, the Belle Biv DeVoe, Bobby, Ralph,
yes, it's
Johnny.
A lot of people.
Like it's like their concert in on the. Damn.
It's a concert and a concert, and everybody had to get their songs off. But it was funny because Boyz II Men was there, and you know, it was a great concert overall. But then I'm like, then Brandy's memoir comes out, and then she's talking about these events around dating a grown man as a teenager who she lost her virginity to.
So back up now. I don't want to slow you down too much, but I'm not up on the latest Brandy. What happened?
Well, I'm about to put you up on it, right? So she releases a memoir called Phases, and in her memoir, she's talking about when she lost her virginity, and she basically says that the man that she lost her virginity to is Wanye Morris from Boyz II Men, who she claims he began grooming her at the age of 15, offering her industry-related advice, calling her to check up on her. She was 16 at the time. He's 22. She lost her virginity to the crooner. And then all these other things surfaced. His Breakfast Club interview where he said, in quote, she was old enough to get it. So I saw all that before going to the concert. So it didn't quite hit the same, the Boyz II Men parts, because it did make me think of I know that happens in the industry, like older men with younger women. I know her mom is she said she hid it from her mother. She was hiding.
Oh, she did.
Yeah, because her mom don't seem like she plays that.
So to be clear, Brandy was acting like Moesha, because I hear Moesha was notorious.
No, it was very Moesha-esque. But at the same time, at 16, like, what kind of sense do you have? And not that you have all your sense as a young man at 22 either. Stop
the presses. Let's answer that question. At 16, what kind of sense do you have?
What kind of sense do you have? None.
Barely any.
None. None whatsoever.
At 16, can you start driving at 16? Is that when you
can take your test? Yeah, you can take your test at 16.
Yeah. So right around 16, they start giving you, they're like, put your hands on this thing and see if you can guide it from here to there. They try to give you simple stuff, but press this thing if you want to slow it down. 16-year-olds.
So I mean, no, they don't. And so I mean,
here's my question: out. How old was he at the time?
He was 22.
16?
22. 16, yeah.
Okay. You know the other group of people that don't make good decisions? People in the 20s.
20s. That's what I said. I was like, neither one of these people had any sense. Her way less than him, of course. But it was an interesting tidbit of information because she had kept that locked up in the vault for years. So nobody knew that, and now everyone does. And then I went to go see Boyz II Men, and I'm like, oh, okay.
And
but what else?
She said he was grooming her?
That's what she claims. And they started grooming her at the age of 15.
Has he said anything about
Not
this?
since, no. He had interviews about it previously, about dating her. But the interviews that are surfacing now were from a time where I feel like you can kind of say more. When he said, she was old enough to get it, it sounds really bad now in the climate. But at the time, we probably all laughed about it. You know what I mean? But hearing it now, it doesn't sound great. But no, we haven't heard anything.
Well,
but he's also on tour right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird is that, a lot of things taken out of cultural context. So, yeah, when you go 10 years back to anything and go, they said this, it's always going to be, oh, my God. And it's not that it wasn't bad. It's not that it wasn't a bad decision. It's not that it wasn't ill-informed. It's just that when you get to step back and look at it having the full context and also the evolution of how we see things, it's like, oh my God, how did they fucking do that? Oh, it's the worst fucking thing. It's like, well, at the time, they hadn't gotten to where you are yet, right? So you're looking at a time capsule, seeing how we used to do shit.
We'll see if he says anything. I mean, I think that he probably won't. He'll probably just focus on the tour. But also, I was watching, I watch my reality TV. And so Summer House is one of the reality shows that I watch on Bravo. And there's been this whole scandal. So Summer House is basically, you take these young people that live in New York. They go to the Hamptons every week. That's a big thing when you live in New York and you're of a certain, caliber of money. Right. You go to the Hamptons every week. You rent a house with your friends, and that's you drive from New York to the Hamptons so you can have like a beachy experience in the summer. So they basically follow a group of friends for the last 10 years that have been doing that. And these are real friends, and it's a diverse cast now, but obviously it started off as a white cast. But over time, we eventually got a black girl that came in and integrated the cast after some years of it being all white. And she basically has like all her white friends, right? So
Right.
she's dating some of the white guys that are on the cast. Beautiful black girl named Sierra Miller, beautiful model-esque black girl, dating these like basic white dudes that are on this cast. And they're kind of playing her because it just feels like they're sexualizing her and they're not taking her seriously. You also have her white best friend on the cast who's married to another guy that lives in the house. They've been married for the last 10 years. They've had a quite tumultuous marriage, and they currently have gotten separated just recently. But it basically came out that the white girl best friend sleeps or is now dating the white boy ex-boyfriend of this black girl. And everybody is up in arms about it because it's like, how dare you? We've seen this black girl support you through your ups and downs of your marriage. We've seen her go hard for you season after season, episode after episode. We've seen her have this whole will they, won't they relationship with this white guy named Wes. And now y'all have been secretly dating for maybe a year, maybe more, behind your husband's back and behind her back. And now y'all are issuing out a joint statement saying that we're together now. So it's created this whole dynamic of, the whole idea of white versus black women friendship and how black women will stand toe to toe and support white women. But the earliest chance they get, they will stab you in the back. Or there's this whole perception of when you're dating a white man as a black woman, how using you sexually is something that they would do, but treating you as like the potential wife or girlfriend is something that they designate for their white counterpart. So there's been all these thought pieces about it. It's been super messy.
Well, all right. So, listen, I don't watch it like that, but I do know this. I just pulled up a picture of the Sierra Miller. She doesn't
gorgeous,
look unlike, but she doesn't look unlike dancer Sierra, right?
Yeah,
if this Sierra, right? If Sierra Miller came around the corner and stabbed me and ran, and then 5 minutes later, dancing Sierra came around the corner, I would identify her to the cops and say that she stabbed me. Anyway, here's the thing, though. Listen, when and I can't discount this, and I don't think people should. When black women especially, make the choice to go swim with sharks, motherfucker, don't be shocked when you get bit. Like, you are dealing with the most diabolical group of people known to mankind. White women en masse. And I'm sorry, white ladies, y'all can fight against this if you want to. You knew y'all some diabolical motherfuckers. You have a long-standing history of this. So if you, the black woman, that decided, I got a good idea, I'm going to go get in here with these white girls and see if I can have some fun. You can, and you will, as long as you are part of their greater agenda, and none of them get to feeling as if somehow whatever space you take up, however you show up, and however you're perceived doesn't eclipse or make them reflect upon themselves with any sort of negativity, because if they do, then they're gonna fucking swarm and attack.
Listen,
it could be
this
subtle.
Is one
it could be
tangent I'll
immediate.
Stand behind because you are preaching.
Listen, I'm just
to the choir.
I mean,
Okay.
I know that this happens. I've seen it happen in real time, and so I mean, if you want to be Sierra Miller and get on TV, and that's the position you choose, the black girl in the midst of all the white women, don't be shocked when these bitches come for you, because that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't want to frame it because yes, she is aware. She has been a voice for black people on this show. She has been the person that's vocal about, hey, you have to understand how things are differently for me with this audience. You have to understand the perception. She understood when she went in dating this guy how she was perceived. A lot of people saying the same thing you're saying right now. And so she's been very vocal with these quote unquote people who she thought were friends. And yes, I believed all that, but at the same time, I can also believe that you think after years with these people that there is going to be some sort of level of decency that you're putting out that you're going to get back in. And she's realizing now that that is not the case. And what I'm seeing now, which is pissing me off, is every single person on that cast that's white has somehow marketed or capitalized off this girl's pain, whether they turned it into like some sort of marketing campaign, made fun of it, some sort of merch situation. Like every single body is getting views off this. Meanwhile, we're waiting for her to say something. Yeah.
That's why they're there. They're not there because they give a fuck about all mankind. They're there because they're trying to get on and make some money and get their page popping, get their life lit. That's what they're doing. That's what she's doing. That's what they're all doing, right? Yeah. This shit is pro wrestling. Right? That's what it is. This week, you're going to be the bad guy. And we're going to slam you down on things. The next week, we're going to have a comeback. And so, to the extent that it is improvisational and reality-based, and that is quote-unquote unscripted, doesn't mean that it's unstructured. And you know that for a fact. So, they're
it's been interesting looking at
some of
it.
these
Yeah, they are. I mean,
and
I do think that this stuff is real. But I think that looking at the episodes now, I'm seeing how production maybe had an inkling, and the choice to edit it a certain way where you're almost giving you context clues so that when this comes up, it becomes this whole, let's go back to the old episodes and find the little nuggets that they left in. I do think it's a masterminded thing. Yeah, right. It is.
Because what we're doing is, well, again, no, she didn't. They didn't drag her in there and make her stay. She said, I got a good idea. I think I'm going to go be on this show with a bunch of white women. And they're like, yes, come on in. And then they're doing a thing. So she's part of the show. Whether she likes how it played out, I cannot take that out of the equation. And when we start, and it's the same thing what Rachel was saying about the Bachelor, it's like, yeah, the reason that the black person is there is not so that you can win. It's so that, like, when we was young and we watched Star Trek, a new crew member would appear on the Enterprise, and at the beginning of the episode, you'd be like, who's that guy? Oh, that's the motherfucker that's going to get killed in 5 minutes. So that we can determine what the threat is, and then we can band together as a team to fight it. Right? And so when the black women come onto these shows, the black people come onto these shows surrounded by white folks, it's like, yeah, you're the one that we're going to sacrifice at some point to let everybody see, right?
Oh,
no,
that's what it feels like. But that's what it feels like. And I could tell they're loving it. They're loving that they're getting all this. The husband that she cheated on with the guy, he's selling out, he has a whole business, a drink business. He's selling
great
merch.
TV.
Like, he's like, I'm going to capitalize off this. Meanwhile, this girl has lost, a guy she really cared about and a friend that she thought was a good friend. It's messed up, but I'm tuned in. I'm tuned in because
it's not messed up. It's working perfectly. It's not messed up. It's going exactly how they want it to go. That's how it's going.
That's what I've been watching. But
guess what? If I could successfully call you out of your name and say some other things, and then we could start a fight that could last for like 2 or 3 weeks, and a whole bunch of people watch, and then I could apologize, and then we could keep all of those viewers, and then build, and then do it again. I'd do that. I'd just be like, today I'm gonna call Alisa some names. We're gonna fight. We're gonna get really popular.
Try it.
You see, it's a scenario. I had a safety advisor come on and tell me that I should not do that. I had a safety meeting before the show.
Oh my God! But no, one last thing.
Shoot.
One last thing. Speaking of calling people names, this is a little honorable mention. I just have to mention because this affects my sorority. I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority.
I know what you're gonna say.
Oh my God! Whoever hired Trick Daddy to come to the South Atlantic Conference, you need to come to the front, because why would you hire Trick Daddy? So I don't know if you heard about this, but Trick Daddy came to perform at our regional conferences. Listen, it's just not. If anybody knows anything about Trick Daddy, there's a certain level of respect that you have to have when you come to these conferences. It's a professional conference. And yes, you do have fun. They had Uncle Luke there as well. You have musicians that come and they do step shows and they do things, but the musician has to also understand the branding of the organization. And it's not the type of organization where you're like, put your hands in the air if you want your pussy. That's not what we stand for.
They don't have to listen. And now I'm gonna say this one more time. I'm gonna blame them just like I blame Ciara for going over there and swimming in the pool with the white women. If you hired the face down, ass up, that's the way we like to fuck guy, and he does that, you can't go, oh my God, what happened? You hired man nigga.
I agree.
You hired the reason I'm famous. The reason you know who I am, because I'm nan nigga. That's me. And you hired me, and y'all are the AKA, so you deserve what the fuck you get.
Listen,
and yes, y'all need to call somebody to the front.
Somebody got a stern talking too, because it's like, there's older women, there's all different ages. you have to have an understanding. Like when Uncle Luke came, he was able to come, perform his songs, and we love his songs as well. There's a big song that he does called Scarred that we all do a big regional, national stroll to or whatever. He did the song, he did the clean version. So they thought Trick would do the clean version of his songs. But if you know Trick, what is the clean version of his songs? What is the clean version of his songs?
He's Trick Daddy.
Somebody said they was like, it must have been an older lady that thought he might have been a magician because his name was Trick Daddy. They thought he was going to pull rabbits out of his hat or something. That must have been who booked it. I don't know who did that. I don't know who you are, Soror, but
listen,
unacceptable.
And just to be clear, I'm not a Trick Daddy fan, right? That was outside of my, out of my experience. And so this is when you know somebody has a particular type of fame. The only thing I know about Trick Daddy is nan nigga, and I ain't got nothing to do with what that world is. So if I know about it, you had to know about it because you booked him.
When I saw the videos, it was a mix of people dancing and then like being caught on camera dancing and feeling ashamed, and a mix of people literally clutching their pearls and walking out. And I just thought, what is this? What is this? It's just. Yeah.
Why didn't they book Trina? They could have booked Trina. That would have been better.
I think Trina might have, maybe because I think Trina would have had the common decency to bleep out the curses in her songs, but still, it's just like,
well, listen, I also don't know anything about Trina, but I do know
she's the baddest bitch.
Yeah, I know that, right?
Yes.
And so if she came out and did some baddest bitch stuff, I don't know if that would be more aligned with what your sorority.
We would have been for that.
Yeah, you would have been for that. So why didn't they get Trina? And again, I know a little about it, but I know enough that if I had a choice between Trina and Trick Daddy, I think they have each other's phone numbers. That like Trick Daddy could have said, "Hey, this ain't the gig for me. I think y'all want to talk to Trina." Yeah, hello. Yes, would you come down to the AKA?
Trick Daddy is so upset because he feels like they're defaming his character, and because they cut his mic off and basically shut his concert down.
Wait. Trick Daddy said they're defaming his character?
Yes. Because they're like, you hired me to be Trick Daddy, and now you mad at me for being Trick Daddy when I'm Trick Daddy. And I'm like, yeah, you did.
They would have defamed his character if they'd have got online and be like, Trick Daddy showed up on time. He didn't curse. He was not high. He had a suit on. He was nice to everybody. He performed a tight 35-minute set. He took his check and then he left. And they'd be like, what? That can't be possible. That's not Trick Daddy. Who the fuck did y'all hire?
So
I think y'all got Tone Loc.
It's going back and forth right now on social media. So I just had to mention that because I've been looking at the videos cracking up as a member of the sorority. But
Trick
whoever
Daddy
hired him,
AKAs.
That's on you. All right. And I think that's everything we can handle for this week. We'll have to come back next week and see what other mess y'all got going on. But that's enough for today.
I'm gonna go listen to Nan Nigga, and then I'm gonna try watching Crime 101 again.
You're not gonna make it through it.
I'm not gonna make it through Nan Nigga. I'm not gonna make it through Crime 101.
Not gonna make it through Crime 101. You make it through Nan Nigga.
All right, that's it.
All right.